Name is Fezan Ali Software Wala and I'm a level 1 student at Rehan School Islamabad campus. So viewers, today I'm here with a new honor interview. So our today's guest name is Paul Bowen. So let's start our today's interview. First of all, please introduce yourself, sir.
Are you asking me to tell my life?
Sir, please introduce yourself. Introduce yourself.
My name is Paul Bowen. I was born in 1944. So I'm now 81 years old. I have I am married with two kids, both grown up, and one granddaughter. I I have spent a lot of time uh, teaching philosophy, and I received a degree in philosophy from Yale University. I am now retired, but in my spare time, I still think of myself as a philosopher and do mostly political philosophy. I guess I'm now living in the United States in the city called Denver, which is in the southwestern United States. I guess that's pretty much my situation.
Okay, so my first question from you is how do you compare the mindset of your generation with that of the today digital generation? So please give me answer on this question.
Ah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Of course, I'm not alike to everyone in my generation, but I think to someone my age, computers are a new thing. When I was a child, the only computers in the world were these great big computers that actually ran on vacuum tubes, and they were not generally available for use. And so there was no internet or anything of that sort, no personal computers. So we just had to use our brains. And so, and I think today's generations are very familiar with computers. They're much better at it than I will ever be. I have learned a few things about how to use computers and how they work, and I discuss them sometimes from a philosophical point of view. But I will probably never have the the abilities to use these sorts of things. What follows from that is not clear to me, but I think it's a very good thing that computers make possible what we're doing right now, right? I mean, I would never get to know someone from Pakistan if it were not for the internet. And I use Facebook, and I have Facebook friends from many different places in the world. And this would have been very difficult, really basically impossible to have done uh, before the age of computers. And I'm hoping that this will contribute to world peace, that people all over the world will come to understand each other better, and we can get rid of war and competition between countries. So I think your generation has a tremendous possibility there. Your generation can unify the world by through using the internet, and I think that's a wonderful thing. That's my answer.
Okay, that's really great answer. I really appreciate your answer. So my next question from you is, what lesson you can younger people learn from the past? So please give me answer on this question. So let's start with your answer, sir.
Ah, well, that's a terrific question. It's a very difficult one to answer, but I'll do the best I can. Um, I think looking at the past of human beings, it often makes me very sad because I see so much war and inequality and oppression and things like this. And but we also see some tremendous gains in things like science. Science has helped us to understand the world much better than our ancestors could possibly have done. And uh, I think that a very important thing to learn from the past is that if 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 the people do not prevent it, they will be ruled by tyrants. They will be ruled by dictators, and that will be a bad thing. It is necessary for people in general to rise up and insist on democracy and equality and a rational society that actually meets people's needs. And history makes it only too clear that this will not happen unless human beings make it happen. And you must be willing to struggle in order to in order to make this happen and in order to prevent those terrible things from happening. So that's my answer.
That's really merciful answer. I really appreciate your answer. So my next question from you is, studying philosophy at Yale University is a significant achievement. So please give me answer, sir.
Thank you. It took me several years to get the degree, and I wrote a dissertation, of which I am quite proud. Uh, and I agree, it's a significant achievement. And but I managed it, and I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad that I did it. It was good for me. So that's my answer. Yes.
Okay. So my next question from you is, what inspired you to choose philosophy as your field of study?
Well, I took a philosophy course in my, in my undergraduate education. I was at Amherst College then. That was before I went to Yale, and I didn't really know what it was. I just signed up for it because I needed another course. So I said, well, whatever this is, I'll try this. But I found it very inspiring. And I think the thing that I found most inspiring, well, there were two things. One is the kinds of questions that philosophers ask, I found very interesting. And the other is that I was impressed by how logical and rigorous uh, the philosophers I studied were. Not all philosophers are like that, but I prefer those that are. And so these two things, I liked the questions, and I liked the way they went about answering the questions. Uh, I mean, in particular, there are certain questions that philosophers are more apt to ask, and those are what we call normative questions. Normative questions are questions about how things ought to be, or how how things would be better or worse. Science, which is a wonderful thing, tends to just describe the world as it is. but philosophers ask, how should the world be? What would be a better world, or a worse one? And that those sorts of questions seem to me very important. I mean, what's the use of having a lot of scientific knowledge or having wonderful machines if you don't know what to do with them? So the basic question, what should we do? To me, that's a philosophical question. And so I find it inspiring that people have addressed this question and said intelligent things about it. And I hope to continue this tradition. Thank you. That's my answer.
Really great. So my next question from you is, how did Yale shape your intellectual journey? So please give me answer, sir.
Well, that was interesting. I think one thing that was important is just as a student, I had a lot of time. I didn't have to be working at something else to pay my way. And so I just had a lot of time to sit in the library and read things. And I had conversations with other people who were interested in similar things. And there's just something inspiring at being in a place that's dedicated to learning. And uh, when you're surrounded by a place where everybody is dedicated to learning or to helping other people to learn, that's very um, inspiring in itself. So that's my answer, I guess.
Okay, that's really great. So philosophy often encourages deep questioning about life. So sir, please give me answer on this question.
Type your question in, please.
My question from you is that philosophy often encourages deep questioning about life.
I'm having trouble hearing you. Can you? Yes. Okay. Yes, that's absolutely right, and that's maybe the essence of philosophy. That's what philosophy is all about. Um, and so, yes, I agree completely about that. That's my answer.
Okay. So my next question from you is, which philosophy question has stayed with you through your life?
Ah, well, I think I have changed uh, about what I want from philosophy and what I try to do in philosophy. When I was younger, I was very interested in logic and the theory of knowledge and things of that kind. But now I'm much more interested in social and political philosophy. As what should society be like? And of course, I've always been interested in that. So I would say that if I had to choose one question, I would choose the question, how should we organize society? And that's my answer. Thanks.
Okay, that's really great answer. So what has it remained so important to you? So please give me answer, sir.
Well, I guess it's because I think that humans suffer terribly because of the kind of societies that they have, and they don't have to suffer. We could have a society where people are happy, they live in peace, and they have control over their lives, and they can flourish in various ways. They have, enough to eat, shelter, clothing, but also other things like entertainment, art, education, and all these things are good for people. And we could have them instead of a lot of the things that we have now, like war, and dictators, and destruction of the ecosystem. These things are very bad, and it's particularly sad because I don't think they're necessary. We don't have to have war. We don't have to have tyranny. Uh, and perhaps philosophers can make a contribution, and perhaps I can make a contribution by trying to figure out how we could have a good society, a society for the whole planet, so that there were no separate countries to have war. And so that's what I spend a lot of my time doing. And the reason is that we have this massive human suffering, and I think it's not necessary, and so we can change it. That's my answer. Thank you.
That's really interesting answer. So your early education included attending a school for gifting children. So please give me answer, sir.
Yes, it's called the Schilling School for Gifted Children. And to get into this school, a child had to have an IQ of 130 or better. We had some students who were in the 180s, 180 something IQ, which is very rare. And we were interested to see if we could make a school for them, because sometimes if you have a gifted child and they're in public school, they're not challenged, they're bored because it's too easy for them. And also, their teachers often don't understand them. So, uh, the, Dr. Schilling, who founded the school and who had several gifted children of her own, wanted to create a place that was specifically made for gifted children. And and she did. And as far as I know, it's still going strong. I've retired now. I no longer teach there. But as far as I know, it's still doing fine, still taking in kids. And so I'm still interested in the question of education of gifted children. And but I'm also interested in educating everybody, because education is a way to make us, we need a certain kind of education to build a better society. As I was saying before, I want to build a better society. And having a good educational system is a crucial part of that. And it can't be an education just for gifted people. So I've become more interested in general education for everybody now. That's my answer. Thank you. Oh, I should say technically I didn't
Okay.
attend the school. I
Okay,
was
so my
not a
next
student.
question:
Okay.
how did this experience influence your confidence and curiosity? Please give me a very great answer on this question, sir.
Hmm. Well, I I learned one thing I learned from the teaching at this gifted school was that IQ is not enough. Uh, I saw many students who didn't take advantage of their IQ, who didn't make use of it very well. And some of my best students, in terms of successfully learning things, were down in the 130s. So for that school, those were the less intelligent students. But because they were more highly motivated, these particular students succeeded in learning very difficult subjects. I taught some very difficult subjects like differential equations, quantum mechanics, game theory, and student whose IQs were in the 130s did very well in these courses. And so I'm inclined to think that even students who are less than 130, if they had the right motivation, they could succeed in mastering difficult subjects. So, as for my confidence and curiosity, I would say because I was somewhat successful in what I was trying to do there, that stimulated my confidence and curiosity. I mean, I will always be curious, but it it gave me a lot to think about. Okay, so that's my answer.
That's really great. So my next question from you is, did it shape the way you approach learning later in life? So please give me answer on this question, sir.
Hmm. I let me first say I think we may have a misunderstanding. I was a teacher at the Schilling School, not a student, but we can still ask whether that experience shaped the way I approached learning in later life, and I think it did because there's a saying that you don't really know a subject until you can teach it, and uh, so I learned a lot about um, how one learns, and I think I learn better now because of my experience as a teacher. So that's my answer.
Okay, that's really interesting. So my next question from you is, how did your time as at DeKalb High School contribute to your academic development?
Ah, well, I have to admit, I was not very disciplined back then. I was not a very good student. Um, I didn't like doing homework, and that limited my ability to do well. You know, I when I look back on that, I have some regrets that I didn't work harder and do homework. I don't know why I didn't. It's very mysterious sometimes looking back on my earlier self and trying to understand why I did, because now I look back on it and I wish I had done things differently. But I did learn some stuff, and I sometimes even use that stuff. Uh, and so it was a positive thing. That's my answer.
Okay, so you have any advice to my viewers?
Well, yes, I would say my advice is to live your life in such a way that the world is a better place because of you. That that
Video.
should that should be your goal.
जो था
The world a better
ये
place.
घूम जो रहा है किसी के कंट्रोल में.
I would also give this advice: be always learning and developing yourself. Even when you graduate from school and you go off to live and have a career and all that, and a family, still you can always be learning and always be strengthening yourself and developing your abilities. And so my advice would be to do that uh, as much as you can. So that's my answer.
Okay, so viewers, this was our today's guest. I hope you like it. So I meet with the new guest next in next topic. Thank you. Allah Hafiz, Pakistan Zindabad. Allah Hafiz.
So are we done now?
That's really great interview, sir.
I don't understand. You please type in what you're saying. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I agree. I think you asked very interesting questions. And I'm sorry we have to go through this business of typing, but my hearing is not so good. So flourish and be happy. I think. I take it that's it. I should leave now. Uh, Here we are.
Sorry, you was having any network issue. So that's way we don't end this live stream. Sorry to say. Thank you and Allah Hafiz. So that's was our interview.